Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to a very special second edition of Championship Showdown, presented by Willow 2.0. I'm your host, Deuce O'Haney. As you may have noticed, we've moved from our previous network to the new and improved BBSN, the Boroughs to Burgh Sports Network, spanning everything in the Keystone that doesn't matter, from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, with a few stops in the mid-state along the way. Well, fans, it's been a long, winding baseball season. We've had plenty of ups and plenty of downs, but it's all gotten us to this point, the fake World Series. Over a 7-day stretch, we will see the perfect matchup between Matt Pupo's Feet Like Forest and Alex Kruger's ATK squad. Now, a little later in the program, we'll break down how these two teams have fared over the last 5 weeks, as well as who we projected to come out on top this week. But first, we're going to take a look at our two fierce competitors. They started off as acquaintances, then moved to good friends, before turning into bitter rivals. And then that was before they became best friends, eventually brothers, and now bitter rivals again in the fantasy sports realm. So we now send you to the home that Matt built, and to the borough of Dauphin, where our friend JD Birdman is standing by.
Thank
Birdman?
you, Deuce. I'm currently standing at Kennedy Memorial Field. This is where a young Matt Pupo first fell in love with the game Americans call baseball. From child star to average adolescent, Matt shed many a tear, many a drop of blood, but never any pounds at these parks. At one point, Matt even took his talents to home plate and would umpire, frustrating many a coach with his conservative strike zone and liberal view on how to call someone out. I spoke with a few kids that were playing a pickup game here at the park and asked them who they thought would win this week's championship showdown. Miles, aged 8, said, quote, "I don't know who any of these guys are, but one of them has poop in his name, so I vote for him." For more substance, we reached out to another Dolphin baseball icon, Danny Gerbich. We asked him how he felt being knocked out of the playoffs by his best friend's little brother, and he responded, quote, "He beat me all year. Good riddance. I hated that app." Powerful stuff from a feeble man. From late night sleepovers after band practice to a flood that left them without parental supervision for 3 days, this borough held many ups and downs of a friendship turned brotherhood. And it seems like everyone in Dauphin has gotten feet fever, as many residents are now wearing Matt's signature hairstyle entitled the Forest Flip. This is JD Birdman with BBSN. Back to you, Deuce.
Thank you, Birdman, and I must say, that is a truly horrific hairstyle. But it's sustained Matt for the last 24 years, so I guess, why change it now? Next, we take a trip out to Alex Kruger's hometowns, where Arthur Deedle is waiting to give us a little insight on the little ugly duckling, who's hoping to sing a swan song.
Thank you, Deuce. We have behind me what is slowly becoming a bit of a historic landmark. On June 25th, 1995, a young Alex Kruger stepped up to the plate here and crushed the best hit of his life. Down 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th, Andrew Surjanic fired a meatball over the plate that Alex sent careening down the third baseline, giving him a stand-up double. Did it win the game? Did it score any runs? Did it set the stage for an epic rally that got his team, the Belgrade Bakers, into the playoffs? No. But it was the greatest hit of his career because it was the only hit of his career. We made attempts to contact his friends from those days, but imaginary entities are hard to get in touch with, so we spoke to his parents instead. They have since moved away from the borough in an effort to raise children in a safe community, so they moved to Harrisburg City?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Arthur Deedle with the BBSN, sitting here with Colleen Kruger, mother of Alex Kruger, the head coach of the ATK squad. How are you doing today, Colleen?
I'm just fine.
Fantastic. If it's all right with you, we're going to dive right into the questions.
Fine with me.
Okay. At what age did you realize sports weren't exactly Alex's thing?
Oh, I don't know. 6, 7, 8, 10.
Were sports ever Alex's thing?
Alex was a quitter.
Now, can you dive into this a little bit more? What types of things did Alex quit?
He quit t-ball, and then he quit basketball, and then he quit karate, and then he quit bowling, and then he quit football, but really he was just a water boy, but he quit that anyway. And then he went on, and his final quit was family fantasy football.
Shocking.
Not really.
Shocking and outrageous. Now, speaking of your family, you have 4 children. Who is your favorite child? Now, please remember, you are under oath. I'm sorry? Okay, you are not under oath, but we would appreciate the truth.
My favorite child is the child of my heart. Matthew.
A twist no one saw coming. Now, there are rumors that Alex has been juicing, specifically using Red Bull to help build his roster week to week. Do you have any comments on this performance-enhancing substance?
I'm so worried about him. I've talked to him about this addiction. I've suggested substitutes, mainlining Coca-Cola, drinking coffee endlessly, but nothing helps. Nothing. Let's move on.
Understood. Let's dive in a little bit to the coaches and their relationship. We've learned that Alex and Matt used to butt heads quite frequently and did not care for each other too much. Was there a specific moment or event that made you think to yourself, these two are going to make it. They're going to be pretty darn good friends?
Well, they started hanging out together at McDevitt when they were forced to go to events in the gymnatorium that their brothers were in. And I thought, there was a budding friendship there.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mrs. Kruger, thank you so much for coming in and
You're welcome.
with us. We wrap back up in Steelton, in front of Alex Kruger's current home. They say you can always go home, and Alex took that to heart. So let's hope the Steelton influence helps him grasp a tight hold of his love for fantasy and compel him to victory. For BBSN, I'm Arthur Deedle. Back to you, Deuce. We've taken the time to get to know the men behind the teams. Now let's look at the statistics and see how the teams should fare against one another this week. Over the last 5 weeks, when we compare Matt's scores to Alex's, we see that Alex has taken the head-to-head matchup 4 out of 5 times. But Matt gets a slight edge because he took the most recent week away from Alex. Alex has bested Matt with a +2 average category differential over that time span. And when we tabulate the totals and average them out, we see a 6-6 split, with wins tied at 2.6 apiece for Matt and Alex's pitchers. Clearly this one is up in the air, but since the ATK squad has dominated 2 categories, runs and walks by batters, and Feet Like Forest has no strangleholds over any one category, we're calling this one for the ATK squad. Make sure to tune in next week when we hand out our MVP as well as superlative awards. And as always, make sure to catch our Super Bowl special, where we break down the teams in the Battle for the Bergs Football Championship in February. For Burrows to Bergs Sports Network, I'm Duso Haney, and we're throwing hard today, Gus.